Hello, everyone, and welcome to Isaac News today.
And I'm here too.
Yes, we have a special guest with us tonight. His name is Dr. Professor Andrew. Please address him as such. And we are just very glad to be here. Yes, I am coming at you live from Georgia today.
Not just anywhere in Georgia, the carpet capital of the world.
Which was a fun fact. If you don't know what that is, look it up. All right. Victoria, hello. Alf, hello. Hello, Georgia. Hello, Missouri, I guess I should say.
Hello.
And hello, Texas, to everyone watching. I'm very excited to get into that. And I am happy to report our fun fact of the day comes from Mr. Andrew himself.
You said Dr. Professor.
Dr.
Andrew.
Professor.
And you were
Dr.
refer
Professor
to me
Andrew.
as such.
All right, DP. All right, DP. So, first up, the source name comes from rd.com.
Which is actually Reader's Digest.
From Reader's Digest itself. So let's get right into it. The fun fact is one letter doesn't appear in any U.S. state. Specifically the name. What? Oops? Victoria, what's up with the oops? I don't know what that's referring to. But okay. Anyway. Hello from the UP. Hello, UP. Hello, Anna. How are you? All right.
We're just having fun.
Oh, yeah. I hope everyone's having a good time. So, for those of y'all who don't know, before we get into our fun fact, I decided to fly down to Georgia and spend some quality time with Dr. Professor Andrew here, who is a physical therapist assistant. Tell me, what's that like, Andrew?
Well, X, Z, I don't quite understand.
They're guessing what letter doesn't appear.
Oh, okay. So what it's like being a physical therapist assistant is it's kind of the difference between a physician and a PA. So like the physician's assistant can do most of what a doctor can do. They just don't have all the certifications and the extra schooling that a doctor does, and it's very similar. I can treat the patients, use electrical stimulation, ultrasound. I'm certified in all of that. I just can't evaluate or discharge a patient.
Fascinating.
And then they do have additional schooling too beyond what we do. But
I like it.
But very similar, cross a lot of the same lines.
So if y'all have any questions you want to ask our physical therapist assistant, Dr. Professor Andrew,
I'm not
feel
actually
free
a
to put it
doctor.
in.
I need to legally say that when it comes to therapy.
Yes, and I'm not legally a Life Sensei, but I could be. There's no certification for that. So, all right, so one letter doesn't appear. It is not X because of Texas. Lorraine, we live in a state with X.
It is not Z because of what was it? What has the
Alf, Arizona.
That's right, Arizona. It's actually Q.
It is the letter Q.
Now, as Isaac, the not doctor professor, pointed out, Albuquerque does have a Q in it,
But that's not a state yet. But we can get there, people. All right, that's enough of an intro, I think. Lorraine, oops. It's okay. I said X as well, or Z when I first heard it.
I probably did too.
Yeah. But all right, let's get right into it. Welcome to the dojo, everyone. And let's get right into your questions for the day. Our first one comes from Animale.
That's cool. Is that Bluetooth?
It is.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's why I got the laptop for this. Yes. Hi, chat. Hi, everyone. So from Animal, they are asking, and this one is for you viewers. How many different species of owls can your viewers name without using the internet?
The barred owl, the
Nocturnal owl.
the horned owl.
There's a whole species of owl that digs. I think they're a digger owl or something.
There's a snow owl too.
Oh yeah, there is a snow
I
owl.
don't know, like 3 maybe.
Yeah,
And I don't even know that they're all real species.
that's how many we can name. Can y'all name more than one type of owl?
Probably.
We got 8 people here. Where are the new mics? Those I haven't finished the testing yet, and this one I have a bit better. So thank you for asking, Lorraine.
And after reading Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, we don't do anything without testing it all the way through.
It's true. It's true. All right. Thank you for your question, Animal. If you guys can name more owls than us, please let us know what kinds. Okay. Next up.
Without looking it up on Google.
Yes, without looking it up. Anyone can look it up.
Comes from J.P. Morgan.
They are asking.
They say, how do you feel about investing? Is it ever too young or too late to start? What should I do? Thanks in advance. So, I would say, it depends who you talk to. That's interesting that you happen to know there are 250 species of owls, Alfheims, without Googling it or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. It's almost like you looked this up before.
Um, but as far as investing goes, you can't really. I'm sure you can't do it too early because of compound interest. The
Hmm.
earlier you start, the more it can accumulate. But if you have a lot of a lot of debt that you need to pay off first, and that's hindering you from being able to invest more, that might be something you have to decide.
And is it ever too late to start when you're dead? That's probably not a good time to start investing. That's what I would say. But
But you can invest in dead people's art and make a lot more money. So,
true, true. Good point. All right. Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Morgan. Or JP Morgan. I shouldn't apply Mr. in this day and age, whatever. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Cindy says the great horned owl. That is a good one. I like that owl. All right, so next up we have one from Tim Hawks, who is asking what, Andrew?
what do Olympic sprinters eat before a race? Nothing. They fast.
Oh my
Get
gosh.
it? Take care and love the show. Well, that's nice, Tim Hawks.
Thank you, Tim Hawks, for just sharing that joke. We appreciate it. Thank you. Next up from Herman Munster, they are asking.
I'm thinking that's from the Munsters, but we're not born prior to 1980 to know what the Munsters are.
True. Yeah.
But we appreciate the question.
Thank you for asking. Yes, and they are just sharing. I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know. Oh my.
Pretty
gosh.
clever.
Very clever.
I do get that.
Thank you very much for showing. What the heck? Oh, hang on. There we go.
Got a slow mouse.
Wait, did I skip one?
I don't think so. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
you
I did. From Woody a rather. Would you rather get one free round trip international plane ticket every year for free or be able to fly domestic anytime for free? Would you rather never have to change a diaper again or never wake up to the babies crying ever again?
I will say this. I would rather never have to wake up to the babies crying. I can change the diapers. I mean, I do a lot worse than that at my regular job. So, that a baby's diaper is really no problem. And then I'd probably that's a hard one between one international plane ticket for free every year or anywhere in the US. But I'd probably out of the two would probably pick the one in the US just
Yeah.
because anytime anywhere you could go and there's it's the United States, but there's a lot of cool stuff in the United States.
Well, and like this year alone, you've had relatives flying in to visit the baby, and then we got to talk about flying all around, and so I agree with you. Yeah.
True.
What would y'all rather have? Would you rather be able to fly anywhere in the U.S. at any time for free, or get one free international flight a year? And also, I've never had to change a baby, but I would instead of having to be woken up because y'all, my sleep's important to me. That's what I say.
You say that, but how many diapers have you changed?
0, and I would like to keep it that way. But I'm not above it. I'm not above it, people. Okay. Thank you for your question, would you rather? Next up, we have from Shannon. Welcome to the show, Shannon. Also, just double checking. Y'all can hear us, right? I'm going to say yes. Okay. Thanks for your show. I see you are having a co-host tonight. Would you both be willing to share with us what are some things you admire about each other and what are some things that drive you crazy about each other? Don't be brutal, LOL.
Well, I've always admired Isaac's kindness to people. He's always able to be very polite, even to people he gets frustrated at, even when he gets frustrated at me.
What?
And he has like this unending patience, and so I really can admire that about him.
Oh,
and he's
man.
also spunky and fun.
We have been apart for a while, man. Yeah, I would say ditto about my brother. That's what I really admire. You seem really wise, and you're able to just remain calm in like every situation, and you handle yourself well.
What drives me crazy is when we talk about an adventure, he's fine with just chilling at the house.
Yeah.
And we have waterfalls, we have mountains, we have historic sites, and now we have terrible weather coming up, so I can't actually go to any of those. But I just that's the thing that I don't understand with him.
What drives me crazy about my brother is the fact that he isn't across the hall anymore. Now it's across the country. But I would say more so, what drives me crazy is you always seem to find the coolest locations that are at the top of mountains
Well,
that we have to climb like
that's what makes them
3
cool.
miles for.
We had a question about this dinosaur.
Oh yeah, what kind of dinosaur is that? From Anna.
This is a Brachiosaurus. Brachy from the Greek word meaning arm, and saurus meaning lizard. So it's the great arm lizard.
Which doesn't have arms.
It has these huge forearms.
Oh, forearms.
And so they knew it could have stood up like that.
Yeah.
Had a very prominent role in the Jurassic Park series, but also I believe the only one that's fully mounted is in Munich. You can see the real, or Berlin, I think, has a full skeleton of it, and it's quite something.
Fascinating. Thank you, Dr. Professor Andrew.
And that was to my wife. I didn't probably need to go in that explanation.
Either way, you're good. Also, in regards to our plane, Lorene, Alf, and Cindy all say domestic. They would rather fly domestic.
America first.
Y'all are my kind of people. So from Thomas, when you think of my name, do you think of a train engine or a disciple of Jesus?
1, 2, 3.
Disciple of Jesus. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. There's your answer. Thank you for asking, Thomas, and good luck with half people.
But I also think of Thomas Aquinas. So.
Oh, yeah, he's a good one. All right, coming from Socks. I can't decide what to make for dinner tonight. Any ideas? Plenty. I was thinking of a way to create illuminating fish, so that way you could have a natural night light. I got inspired by that. But as far as ideas for dinner, Andrew?
I think you should make some ramen. Isaac has a really good ramen recipe, and he bought all the ingredients for less than $5, and it tasted like something you would get at an Asian restaurant. So I really thought it was a pretty good deal for all of that.
That sounds pretty good. I like that. And I don't know, that's grilled cheese. You can't go wrong with either. Like with fresh bread. Oh gosh, I love that. Yeah. So those are our ideas. And luckily my beautiful sister-in-law left like so many amazing meals with my brother who's bacheloring it.
I can't handle it by myself.
Bacheloring it. I think that's the right phrase. And they all
Close
look
enough.
just fantastic. So I would try to talk to her. Thank you for your question. All right, so from Inquisitive, have you ever heard of a purple people eater?
I remember the tune, but I don't remember the lyrics. What was it?
Giant
Five-horned-
flying purple people eater.
Okay, I remember that
Flying,
part, but I don't remember it's like a 5-horned, 3-eyed, flying purple people eater or
And,
something.
you know, when you think about the lyrics from that, that's terrifying. You're seeing a people eater from the sky, and you make it to like this cheery tune that everyone sings about. I still love the song, don't get me wrong, but it has a lot of connotations. One-eyed giant purple people eater. Thank you, Victoria.
Still scary.
That is terrifying. So from Frequent Flyer, do you have a bucket list? If so, what are your top 3 things? Good question. These are deep tonight.
One of my top things has always been to travel to Quebec City in Canada.
Really?
I know it looks like a French town, and I could just go to France probably for the same amount of effort and money, but it just seems like a really neat place and culture, and the fact that it's in the American continent and still has its original walls are pretty cool. I think that would be really neat. I think it would be cool to see like a temple in Asia or India. I always think those are very interesting cultures. And then, for number 3, just I'd love a piece of land with a nice house on it that I can be with my wife and my family. I think that would be a really fun. That'd be the number 1 on my bucket list.
That's great. I like those. Yeah. Mine is probably very similar. Own a house with pool that is pretty secluded, because I like everyone being there, but I want people to visit there on purpose, not on accident. So I would love to go to Japan and just live there for like 3 months, get to like tour Nintendo and so much more. I think they made like a live Nintendo amusement park, yes. And so I'm dying to go to that. And lastly, I would like to tour Israel.
That would be a good one, too.
Just see like all the scripture parts there. Thank you for the question.
What are
Sarah,
your 3 things on your bucket list, everybody?
and actually Sarah's already there. She says, I don't have a bucket list, but I would love to go to Prince Edward's Island in Rome. Good choices. This guy's been to Rome, Sarah. If you want to ask him any questions, please feel free to get them in the chat. Thank you for the question. All right, so from Inquiring Minds want to know, what does it mean that the love of money is the root of all evil? Thanks for your fun insights. They brighten our week. Well, it brightens my week to think about these things. The love of money is the root of all evil. I think that's technically a misquote, because the verse that I've memorized is the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Maybe it's, semantics. But, oh, thank you, Cindy. Great answers. Well, great questions.
So I actually finished recently listening to some lectures on St. Augustine, and I won't get into all of it, but the basics of it is you love God first. You love God first before your friends. You love God first before your spouse. You love God first before your possessions. And so if you love God and through that you obtain money or you use money responsibly, then that's fine. And if you have a reason for making money and having money, that's fine. But if it's the fact that you love money before God, that's what's the root of all evil.
I think that's a good answer. I'd say basically the same thing. To me, I think it also means it just highlights that anyone will do anything for the right price. And when you get to the point that your soul can essentially be bought to lie, steal, cheat, or get some kind of material possession, it leads to that. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. So.
Well, thank you for the question. Inquiring Minds want to know. I love that name. Do you have to put that down on the SATs? All right. From Shelly. I tend to be very slow moving and have been challenged to a race by a very speedy rabbit. Do you think I should take on this challenge? I am most certain I will lose. The rabbit can be kind of careless, so there is a small chance I could win. Thoughts? I take your advice pretty seriously.
I feel like you've gotten this question before.
Well, I can only imagine how long it took to type this out, so I better answer it seriously. Yeah, you totally can win. I mean, not I can win. You can win, Shelly. I believe in you. Why? Because you're asking the Life Sensei and Dr. Professor.
It's the truth. I feel like you just keep pushing on, and save your energy for the long term instead of just try to sprint through the first little bit. I think you'll make it.
Keep going, and don't worry about how fast everyone else is going. Go at your own pace, Shelly.
I think Aristotle had that story.
And we're going to stop there really quick and get to our philosophy phrase of the day, which comes from Dr. Professor himself. He chose this. And his quote of the day is,
if you believe what you like in the Gospels and reject what you don't like, it is not the gospel you believe, but yourself.
All right. Anyone want to take a crack at who said that? I'll give you an image because this one doesn't really help much.
It's not C.S. Lewis.
You're right.
If that helps.
C.S. Lewis. Someone else who's pretty influential.
Maybe lived in Florida. No, but maybe.
Oh, I thought that was serious for a moment. No. Okay. It is St. Augustine.
Or Augustine, depending on how you want to say it. They're both perfectly fine.
Because this is America and we can pronounce things incorrectly.
St. Augustine spent a lot of his life talking and going into heresies that were against the church. And so St. Alfred, I don't feel like that was I don't know that was a real saint, but Victoria was right.
Yeah,
good job.
Good job, Victoria.
So that's where this quote comes from.
And y'all, seriously, he has a lot of good quotes. Look him up. Chappie Kreider says, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I mean, over time, you probably will go farther than everyone else, but it's not, technically speaking, velocity-wise fast. But if someone goes 50 miles an hour and then stops after, 10 feet, they're not going to go farther. So I get what you mean there. Thanks for sharing.
I don't think... let me check.
St. Alfred is not the saint of cheeseburgers.
There probably is a saint of cheeseburgers.
Well, while you look that up, I'll find out. Our next question is ready for a change. And they say, I assumed since Dr. Professor was listening this week. Yes. Yeah. So true, Victoria. So if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? What factors matter most to you when choosing where to live? Dr. Professor? Or do you want to think?
Well, that's a good question because it can't just be a fun place. If you really had to pick what factors, it would be safety and being a good place to raise children, a place that gives you more freedom. Because a lot of these countries, even in Europe, are pretty authoritarian about how you can educate your children and raise them in their beliefs. So, there'd be a lot to consider.
I agree.
That being said, it would be hard to find a place that gives you more freedom with all of that than the United States. And the United States has a lot of travel privileges among all these other countries that certain other countries don't let you have. You can't just go visa free to all these other places. So
Yeah.
I think the U.S. isn't a bad choice for that.
Yeah, U.S. is good. Australia, I think, is second best when it comes to freedom. No offense to Australia, that means you're the best in the world besides America. Alf says Missouri, but with actual soil, not clay.
I don't know if Missouri has actual soil.
Yeah.
I assume somewhere.
To be honest, anywhere is pretty good as long as it's not too hot, not too cold, and there's a lack of poisonous creatures. That's what I would do. All right. Thank you for that question. Ready for a change?
We appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. From History Buff, would you share one of your most favorite or interesting historical stories in 30 seconds? I will research it after the show to find out more info. Okay, I'm going to time this one for my brother in 30 seconds. And go.
The American Revolution was primarily based on Greek and Roman stories. George Washington was actually inspired mostly by a guy named Cincinnatus. I won't get into that. And that's what gave him the encouragement. And at Valley Forge, they even did a play on Tacitus, I believe.
20 seconds.
I have 20 seconds
9,
in?
8,
Oh, man.
7.
Anyway, and so that was very influential. And the fact that we don't study them today is why we don't understand a lot of what they fought for.
Time. Good job. I like that. Now I'm interested. All right. And Sarah says she wants to live out in the country but haven't decided which state I want to live in.
I drove through Kentucky. Kentucky seemed pretty.
And I think from what I've looked at, Kentucky is like one of the lowest costs of living in the U.S. So that would be a good place. It has a derby, too. Okay. From World Leader. Ooh. This is for Professor Doctor. Who are the top 3 to 5 most influential people in the history of the United States, and what did they do? Thanks for everything. I'm going to attach 30 seconds to this as well.
30? Okay.
All right.
Wait, no. What did they do? I can't do all of that. Okay.
Okay, a little longer than 30 seconds, but go.
Okay, George Washington was the first president and really set the mold for the country. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves and put a lot of emphasis onto healing the country after the Civil War. I would also say you have President Andrew Jackson with the Indian Removal Act and a lot of the other things that he established during the time. Let's see. Probably Ronald Reagan. He was in control at the time right around when the Soviet Union collapsed. So that was pretty influential and pivotal time in the U.S. Franklin Roosevelt with World War II and the New Deal. I'm picking mostly presidents, but I'm on a time limit, so I'm going to stop at 4.
I like them. Those are good. I like it. You guys give them a round of applause. That's impressive. Yeah. All right. I hope that helps.
That's what I do.
Yes, you do. I like it. Let's see. From Wooden Snowman, Andrew.
Nope, Wooden Snow Woman.
Snow Woman, my bad.
How do you keep your relationship strong as siblings when you're far apart?
Oh, that's a sweet question.
Well, you FaceTime.
Talk. Yeah. Give grace. That's what I would say. Like my brother.
He has to give me a lot of grace.
No, you have to give me grace. I mean, because, Pete, you're going to make mistakes when you're far apart. Little things, you're going to say things that make the other person mad and not even know about it. And so you just got to be willing to let those things go and don't hold on to the past. Well, remember the past and be willing to pick things up right where you left off.
And just know, resentment, St. Augustine has another quote, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Yeah,
so it does no good in the long run.
I like that. Good point. Okay. From fun facts that are funny. Sliced bread was first manufactured by machine and sold in the 1920s by the Cloth Baking Company in Missouri.
I think.
It was the greatest thing since unsliced bread. That is a fun fact. All right, from Young at Heart.
When you're a bachelor, what is your go-to meal?
Cheap. That's it. Doesn't matter really what kind it is. Talking Italian, talking $5 footlongs, ramen. What else? You were a bachelor once.
I was a bachelor once. If I were to pick I probably would be something like mac and cheese or whatever if I was in a rush. But if I had time, I don't know. I like to cook. I like to grill some chicken or
while you're
or
a
grill
bachelor.
steak.
Because I know you do it now, but I don't remember you doing that when you were a bachelor.
I really was never a bachelor. I was,
Yeah. Okay.
kind of went right from living with my folks to living with my
Beautiful wife. Yes.
So I didn't get really a chance to
That's
cook.
the way to do it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So yeah, go-to meal. What were y'all's bachelor go-to meals? Also, yes, he makes amazing chicken and burgers. Cheeto mac and cheese.
Yeah, that's
yes,
it,
Anna. Yes, that is.
She doesn't like it. She's just saying
so
that's what
good.
it is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, now thanks to this guy, like put in a box. I'm like, well, it'll be 2 meals, and I'm like, oh, well,
It has
myself.
I don't know how to explain it. It has like a radioactive orange look, but it's really tasty.
Oh, so good. All right, from Curious, this one is for Andrew. Lucky dog. How do you like being a dad?
I love being a dad. I'm more tired than I ever have been. But when you have a wife who's really supportive and really helpful with the baby, and really supportive to you and understands how tired you are, and I had a good mentor tell me one time that what your job is as a dad when you have a baby is to just take the burden off your wife. I don't know that I do that very well, but that's kind of what I try to work with. So I like it, and it's really special to have this little person in your life forever with you. It's pretty special.
Sounds like it. I'm happy for you, man.
Thank you.
And for
I am
other
too.
bachelor meals, Alf says he likes Kraft shells and cheese. I know he also
true.
hates Cheeto mac and cheese, but it's amazing. And Rhonda says she likes Jimmy John's. I tried Jimmy John's. Subway is better to me. Rhonda, I'm sorry to say, but
You've had Subway like 100 times and Jimmy John's once, so it's kind of hard
that should say something that
Well,
I didn't
it's
go
hard
back to Jimmy John's.
It's hard to just say, I don't like this thing when you've only had
Well,
it once.
there's nothing
You've had a
on the
lot of time to
menu.
experiment at Subway.
There's nothing on the menu
know,
at
you've
Jimmy
only
John's
been-
that I don't feel I could make myself.
Well, you could do the same at Subway.
I do not have Italian herbs and cheese bread.
Well, I mean, you could. Probably just sprinkle Parmesan cheese onto regular bread.
Well,
Am I right, ladies?
touche. Okay. So, from Young at Heart, this one is also for Andrew. What is the greatest joy in being a dad?
Well, I can't get him to do it often, but when David laughs at me, that's pretty fun. When he laughs with me and
He's
I'm able
laughed
to...
at you?
Well, I mean, I'm able to make him...
Right. Yeah.
Like, smile. Not really
But
true
go,
laugh. Way to just pop that bubble I had. But, we had... I'd say that was pretty special so far.
That is nice.
And getting him to go to sleep.
That is one of the
Knowing that you can put him to sleep, that's a pretty big joy too.
Good answer.
For me, at least.
I like that. All right, from Young at Heart, what is the best way to enjoy a Sodastream?
The best way is with this evil genius created. It's called Diab. And basically, you just take all syrup from different kinds and put it in there, and just a little cap full of water. And then you
I
increase it.
did water, like the proper amount of water, and then I just put in like 4 times the amount of syrup.
So it's
from
basically
4
just
sodas.
carbonated syrup. It
Yeah.
was horrible. Nobody liked it.
Well, we called it death in a bottle because hardly anyone could handle how sweet it was, and so we just shortened it to Diab. And oh my gosh, that was good. It was like cream soda, grape, strawberry, orange, and the root beer flavors all together.
It was pretty bad.
It was so good. Y'all, like, darn, now I'm craving it. Thank you.
Yuck.
Best way to enjoy a Sodastream, be creative. Truly enjoy it.
Or do what it says on the box.
Or do what it says on the box, yeah. All right, from Young at Heart, what is the best use for broccoli? Pretending
Eating it?
you're a giant.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
No.
Dipping it in ranch.
Ooh, that is pretty good. Covering it in cheese. Yeah.
The best juice is to eat it raw and get the benefits from it. But I've never been able to do that. So
That's the objective best way. But the subjective, there's so many uses of broccoli. Pretending you're a giant. Anna, Diab, death in a bottle. Yes, exactly. She remembers. Anna had tried it, I think, once. And actually, it was great. Y'all, I'm sorry, side note with death in a bottle. Our neighbors lived next door and it was raining when I made it. So I felt like a mad scientist. So I grabbed the bottle and like ran next door, pounded on our neighbor's door.
we knew our neighbors.
Right,
by the
right.
way.
They were, yes.
They were pretty close friends.
Like
Still
our,
are.
yeah, best friends. And like, I open the door and they have the table with like Anna and everyone else around them. And they're like, Isaac, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just made the best concoction ever. And they didn't try it that night because everyone was trying to go to sleep.
But then he had a birthday party and he guilted everybody into trying it.
Well, I said, if you really want to give me a gift, try this. And we all almost got diabetes together. Maybe that's what Diab was short for, too. Probably
Uh-oh.
not.
I didn't
All
put
right.
this in.
Last one from Professor Doctor, but not him. Well, hunting protection from home invaders or fighting tyranny?
So I'm gonna field this one, unless you have a
Please
strong.
do. The question's for you.
When the New World was colonized, there were two basic types of colonization. You had the Spanish, who got the big cities in Central and South America. Those are easy to conquer because they had these mines and everything already in order to build those cities. But to go further north in what would become the United States, the benefits were not so obvious. And to get them, you couldn't just enslave people to mine. You had to get people to farm and trap beavers and so on. So you needed to incentivize these people to stay there. What the Spanish did in Central and South America is they only would allow garrisons from the Spanish army to have weapons. Nobody else could. And so as a result, they became really centered around the big cities. Whereas in the United States, the British gave everybody weapons, or said they were allowed to defend their homes because it worked out better for the British that they had weapons to defend themselves. The British didn't have to spend money on an army, and they were willing to protect their own land with their lives. So that's how that all got started, which is why America has more of a gun culture than most other countries in the world, because for America, gun culture meant protecting your property. But as we get less private property and more rentals, more renters and less buyers, we end up getting less guns as a result overall.
Interesting.
So there's still being a lot of guns that are being bought, but overall there's less guns. So why were we given the Second Amendment? Because it was important to them to have guns to defend your property. Now, how that affects today, I'm not going to get into. But that's where all of that got started in, and that's how American culture, gun culture, really got going.
So hunting protection from home invaders and for fighting tyranny, it would be for all of those as well.
Kind of, yeah.
But
of course, the British didn't think that they might use those guns to rebel against them. So that was kind of a flawed system in that respect. But.
True. Good point. I like that. And those are all our questions. So we're going to get into our closing thoughts for the day. And Andrew, do you have any closing thoughts? I have mine, but I want to see what you think. If you have any notes for our audience.
I do have one note. Do your therapy. If your therapist tells you this exercise is beneficial, don't whine. Just do it. It's a lot quicker if you just go through the exercise than we have to have a whole discussion with you. That was my week this week. They're like, you don't understand a knee surgery. I'm like, no, I've been at a place where all we did was knee replacements and hip replacements. I'm pretty familiar with this surgery and this operation.
They really did? They said,
oh
my
yeah.
Gosh. Wow. That's crazy.
All the time.
Do your therapy. Okay. So my closing thoughts, y'all, if you haven't heard of it already, go watch the series The Chosen. And one of the lines stuck out to me this week. It was, if you don't make time for friends, you won't have any. And that just blew me away, especially in this time. But it also made me realize that applies to family as well, in my opinion. Because if you don't make time for your family, then your family is going to do whatever they do without you. And so that was one reason that I was willing to hop on a plane and come visit my brother. And that's one reason why my brother invited me out when there was a time. So this weekend, I challenge you all. Thank you. Take some time and show those closest to you that you care in that one special way that only you can. And you know what that is inside. God bless you, grasshoppers, and have a good night.
Bye.